So this is an introduction to my talk that I did on the 24th at the library. Um, and the advertisement was these questions, this government monopoly, and all these questions about society, law, objectivity, and subjectivity. It all ties together as examples of a different kind of knowledge, the kind which um, the Austrian school uses, a priori knowledge. Some of it's true by definition. Is government monopoly is sort of true by definition. But are all monopolies based on violence? That could be considered an experimental, empirical statement. Is society and ecology too complex to manage? Again. But when it comes to statements like, is law prior to government? That's pretty much an a priori statement, right, to say it is. And then these equivalencies and stuff. So this talk is really about human nature and the epistemology which tells us human nature, and it's in contrast to the sciences, see, which logical positivism took us over. So that's what my talk's about, those elements of nature, and knowing nature through the correct epistemology, not just through the sciences, which are very technical and don't really capture life very well, and contrasting the capture of economics by the logical positivists, and how people like Milton Friedman got taken over by Karl Popper's Popperian philosophy, which is kind of post-logical positivist, but it still denies subjectivity. Maybe not as much as logical positivism, but so that's the thing I'm talking about in the beginning. Not just this. I'll talk about this contrast here, but then I'll talk about the epistemology of these things as well, of our subject of objectivity, of law, and as a priori, the a priori nature of knowing these things. Which it's common sense in a lot of cases. Doesn't take specialization. And so I'm talking about the finite whole is greater than its parts as an example. That of knowledge that cannot be refuted by experimentation. So that's what I'm talking about when I begin. I'm talking about the nature of objectivity that we know from inside us. All individuals, for instance, I say in there, live in a subjective world unknown to others, even if empathized with by others. So this particular page I didn't talk about. I just referred to this quote because I was doing it, spontaneously. And these three principles here are something I made up, inspired from Maharshi. These are mathematically defunct examples of a priori, because they're not based on subjectivity, right? They're not based on your consciousness, which makes things true, irrefutably. I mean, some people say it comes from language, but knowing the structure of the language, as in the case of number one here, a finite whole is always greater than any of its parts. But this one, all individuals act purposefully. They seek means to achieve ends. That's more or less a consciousness kind of a thing. You know that what you were doing with your life, and you know that everybody does that, and you know about means and ends. So, and this is the a priori axiom of Austrian economics. And then at the end, you'll see these pictures. This is illustrating the first principle, that every man is an island unto himself subjectively. We live in our own universe, even though we love to be together. And then that proof comes at the end. Yeah, these are the same one. The proof comes at the end that government shouldn't exist. A very powerful proof, I think. And the ethics and economics of anarchy, which is also a proof. And it uses illustrations to make you understand the reality of the axioms in this proof of this sorite. So when I begin in the main body, I'll be talking about these issues, the sovereign, the competence of the individual, the exclusive capacity, the nature of subjectivity as the source of the objective world. And that's where I begin the talk. So I just wanted this to be the introduction. Thanks.